Okay, everyone at home, you may be seeing me already. I gotta wait for my mobile device to tell me that the live stream is fully operational. There's a bit of a delay between it going live and me getting the first feedback. I see 4 people are watching. So just ignore this little bit while I do the technical stuff in the background to make sure it's stable. All right, so we'll just act like I'm director as well behind the camera. 3, 2, 1. Good evening, Hamilton. I'm here live at the King George Room at LaUna Station on James Street North, where Councillor Brian McHattie, who currently serves on City Councillor in Ward 1 and has been serving on City Council for 10 years, will officially launch his mayoral campaign. Campaign manager Todd White says that they are coming in with a bang, that this will be a campaign launch unlike anything that Hamilton has seen before. Right beside me here is the podium where Mr. McHattie will be speaking. You can see his campaign logo behind us right here. The room right now is just some campaign staff. Out in the lobby, there's approximately at least 50 people. I would guess 100. I didn't do a full head count when I was out there, that are waiting to come in at 7 o'clock. McHattie will come in as well, work the room like a politician normally would do. This will not be too much of a surprise to anyone. Councillor Jason Farr will introduce Brian McHattie tonight, and then McHattie will say some words. There are also various community leaders that will be speaking on behalf of McHattie as well, many of them familiar to you, especially those of you who are on social media often. So, in approximately 10 minutes, we will see people start coming into the room, and it will begin. This is the start of the election campaign. I'm very excited. I hope all of you are. And so welcome to LaUna Station, the King George Room, where we will have live video as Councillor Brian McHattie becomes the first mayoral candidate to give an opening campaign speech. So for those of you who are just joining us, this is a live shot of the podium where current Ward 1 City Councillor Brian McHattie will address supporters as he becomes the first candidate to hold a campaign launch event. We're here at LaUna Station on James Street North in the King George Room. His supporters are currently out in the lobby area mingling, and they will be admitted to the ballroom at 7 p.m. with McHattie's comments to follow shortly thereafter. Sounds good. Receiving any data. So once again, we're here at the LaUna Station. We're running off of a cell network, so we may end up with the problem of the network dropping on and off throughout. There's nothing that I can do about that. That is a problem with the cell network. It's a 4G plan, full data, so it's not that the plan's cheap. It's just sometimes it drops off like that and it refuses to take anything. So once again, we're live here at LaUna Station for Brian McHattie's campaign launch, and with apologies for the Okay.
I'm glad. That's an awesome grant. 250. That's great.
Okay, so Councillor Farr, we are live right now.
Are we?
Yes.
Oh, great.
So, without the producer, all the fun stuff, we'll just act like I'm doing the 3, 2, 1 and we could go.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
so.
Hi, everybody watching.
So, Councillor Farr, you're introducing Councillor McHattie today. I assume this is an endorsement, am I correct?
No, you are not, Joey. You're not always right, Joey. I actually had a few people approach me prior to Brian asking me to host, of which I am very proud and happy to do so, obviously. But I'm not endorsing. I'm one of those guys. I've already said that to a few individuals, and so, it's not one of those Groucho Marx where I don't want to be a member of a club that'll have a guy like me as a member. But officially, no. However, I take great pride in being here, and he's not only a trusted colleague, but also a great friend of mine. So, of course, I'm going to say yes.
Okay, so why are you here?
Because he's a great friend and a trusted colleague. He really is. I mean, he has never failed, and I'll mention this in just minutes, everybody, but Joe's always got to have the scoop. But he's never failed to be there whenever I've come calling and knocking on his door, and so, when he asked, I absolutely had to say absolutely yes.
Okay, so you're not endorsing. Are you planning to vote?
Does Dan know that we're live? Is he in the shot?
He's in the shot. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. We could do a
All
scrum. Dan's a good guy, and if he knew we were live,
is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand. So what you're introducing him, I understand. So you're supporting him.
I'm hosting him. You can call it whatever you like. Not an official endorsement. However, just like whenever I've asked Dan, as I just said to Joe, in the last 3 years, he's always been a good friend, a good colleague, always there for me. I was honored that he asked, and of course I'm here tonight.
Does he have your vote?
I don't, am I to reveal? You see, now I'm still a newbie, so am I to reveal who I'm voting for? He's a good friend and a trusted colleague, a compassionate, passionate individual, and I think he would make a fantastic mayor, there's no doubt.
Well, you're not supporting Bob Bertina.
I think that Brian McHattie, having worked very closely with him, and many other councillors who have great rapport with Brian McHattie, has proven himself as a very passionate, compassionate individual who would make a great mayor. There's
Race to run, but are you going to campaign a bit for him? Or?
Well, I'm here tonight. This is definitely a big kickoff. This is most impressive, the amount of people that are here. A lot of Ward 2 residents and business folks are here too, which is also very impressive. But no, I obviously will have to have my own focus. I have no doubt, just judging from the blue shirts that are here, the McHattie shirts, the Together We Can team that he's already assembled, that volunteer army will continue to grow. And I don't think, will require my assistance. I feel quite strongly he'll have no trouble on the volunteer side. That's for sure, Dan.
So what are you looking for in a mayoral candidate?
Personally, I think the number one objective is that we have already a council that works very well together. The councillors are a good team as it stands. Brian McHattie makes a big part of that, makes up a big part of that rapport. And we've achieved, I think, a great deal this term. There's been very little discourse, very little divisiveness. There has been some, but you got to give credit to guys, veterans like Dan. I haven't heard that.
Sorry, they probably asked you this, but are you here endorsing
Not
Brian?
officially endorsing Sam from CBC, but Brian never failed to be there for me in the last 3 years, so I was honored that he asked that I'd be playing the role as Master of Ceremonies. As Dan knows, I'm very well versed at. I am the Master.
Bertina called you and said, will you do this for me, or you won't do this for Bob Bertina?
I would have to check my calendar.
Jason, what do you see as, I look around here and there are a lot of people from Ward 1, a lot of people from Ward 2. How do you think he should get out to the suburbs? Like, do you see obstacles?
I think he's got a pretty good team assembled. It's a growing volunteer team. I think he's got a campaign slogan that says, I'm ready to have that conversation all around this great, big, beautiful city. I know that he has a plan to do so, and certainly he has a rapport that goes well beyond the inner city. There's no doubt about that, and he has a great knowledge, a vast knowledge of whether it's country, suburban, or inner city issues. He's been on it for some time.
Jay, as a former media person, we won't stop asking the questions.
I'm endorsing Councillor McHattie, don't I? Passionate individual. He does his homework. He works hard, and he's a great man, a great family man, and a good man who has an excellent rapport, in my estimation, with every one of my councillor colleagues.
So you're saying you're not endorsing, but that sounds like an endorsement. Why aren't you calling it that?
You know what? I may eventually if you keep pressing me.
Jason, do you expect any of your other councillors out tonight?
We got a little surprise tonight to that.
Who will be introducing.
He's doing a good job, isn't he?
This is the great thing about being live on the web, that we can have this fun and you can actually see what happens behind the scenes. So, again, that was Ward 2 Councillor Jason Farr, who is introducing Councillor McHattie, but is not going so far as to call it an endorsement, though it sure does sound like that. Says there's a surprise coming when he was asked about, are other city councillors going to be here tonight? So, we have to wait. Councillor McHattie will be coming into the room shortly. We will get that to you live. Stay tuned. In terms of the stream, it may be dropping up and down. That is a result of the fact that we're running on a cell network right now. It's a 4G, but for some reason, every once in a while, the cell network does not take the data that's being transmitted. I've decreased the amount of data that I'm sending to 360p, the lowest setting I can give you that's a decent audio and video quality. So if it does cut out, I am recording it and I will upload an SD version as quickly as possible afterwards and HD by the morning. So stay tuned, share it, let people know that this is going on, even if you're not voting for McHattie. Actually, I prefer that, it's not necessarily that you're voting for him. It's worth sharing this and letting people see what are the candidates saying during this election. McHattie is first out of the gate, but we have many more months to go. We will have many more candidates, and hopefully we'll be able to go live at each and every candidate's campaign launch so that you can be informed when you go to the ballot box in late October. So once again, we are live here from LaUna Station, the King George Room on James Street North, where current Ward 1 City Councillor Brian McHattie will be kicking off his campaign momentarily.
Phyllis Trester, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Brian and the entire campaign team. When I extend to you a very warm welcome, a welcome to each and every one of you to the official launch of Brian McHattie 2014 for Mayor campaign. Just as in the past, Brian has brought together an incredibly diverse, talented, and dedicated campaign team. I can honestly say that being part of the collaboration and incredible creative process that has driven this campaign so far has been tremendously exciting. You can't buy excitement. I think you catch it. We are going to run a campaign like Hamilton has never seen before. And you get to be a part of it. Starting right now, being in this room, you're part of this campaign. You know, ordinary people can and do extraordinary things every single day. Things that enrich our neighborhoods and our city immeasurably. It is the task of leadership to create and maintain the climate that both encourages and celebrates those actions. It seemed only logical then for Brian and the team to make you, the voters, one of the key focus of this campaign. You saw the wonderful You Did It posters that were on the slide show as you entered the room. That is just part of the connectivity that we want to generate throughout this campaign. We're hoping to collect more and more and more of those stories, to create a collage of Hamilton and what it has already done. Yes, the campaign is still about Brian, about his and his vision for an Hamilton future, but it's also about you. And it's about connections with you. Brian wants to hear your ideas and your concerns. And it's the job of the team to make sure that that process is as easy as possible. Man, do we have a tech team. It's incredible. The website goes live tonight. It's on the back of all the t-shirts. It's on all of the materials. Check it out. It's beautiful. It's organic. It's adaptable. It's going to be able to evolve as the needs of the campaign develop. We are also live tweeting the event tonight, and we encourage you to join the conversation. We're lucky enough that Joey Coleman is here tonight, and he's live streaming the entire event. Thank you, Joey, for offering to do this for those who could not be here tonight. You're helping us to connect with Hamilton. Well, yes, the tweet is on the back, and you can visit the hashtag. You now realize why they asked me to be the presenter. They needed a certain area for displaying info. That aside, the campaign is going to look great. We've got great colors, great graphics, a great website. We've got buttons and t-shirts and posters and stories. We've already begun the task of meeting with groups in their homes so that people can find out what Brian is really like and what he really stands for. We've even begun going door to door. So it will be a shoe leather campaign. not just a technically savvy campaign as well. But this is just the beginning. We've got a long road ahead of us. We've got 9 months, what is considered a good, healthy gestation period to create our new mayor. We've got to encourage the voters of this great city of ours to engage in driving change. We've got, luckily, a campaign that is as intelligent, inclusive, and filled with integrity as the man it represents. Together, we can do more. Team McHattie is already excited to be part of it, and we know you are too. So let's get this campaign rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my very great pleasure to introduce to you tonight our Master of Ceremonies for this evening's event, a person who in his own words is both a colleague and a friend of Brian McHattie. I give to you our Hamilton's very own Ward 2 Councillor, Jason Farr.
How's everybody feeling about Brian McHattie for mayor? 2014. Wow, we got some friends from council in the house. Hello, Robert Pasuda. Mr. Miller, MPP, Hamilton East, I saw you over there. And a little later on, it's going to be fun. You're going to tell me which councillor wrote this mystery letter on behalf of the festivities here tonight. We'll enjoy that later. Also, in just a few moments, we're going to meet Brian's immediate family. In a little later on, we're going to have, of course, the great Harlan Pepper performing live on the stage. We are also, at some point, probably going to hear from Brian McHattie. Currently, my dear friend and colleague is, of course, the councillor for Ward 1. It wasn't long ago that he put his name on the mayoral race for 2014. It's the second time, by the way, he's done so. And I think this time, we can really, truly feel the energy. I am so proud to be here, not as the Ward 2 councillor, a colleague of Brian McHattie next door, but mostly as a very good friend of Brian, who has never failed in his compassionate, passionate way to support me whenever I've come to him. And so when Brian came to me a short while ago and said, Jay, you want to be MC? I said, I haven't been MC since the radio days. I'll take it. And to be up here representing you, Brian, is very important to me. It's an honor to have been asked. It's great to have an opportunity to help Brian out and be here as your MC tonight. And I also told him I got a lot of experience, 22 years, so we're going to keep the evening rolling and rocking and keep this energy level up. And with that, let me tell you about a lot of friends and a growing army of you-did-its. And as I mention who the you-did-its are, feel free to make your way up to the stage behind me. And then we're going to hear from a few you-did-its. So what are you-did-its? You've seen it on the campaign shirts, on the buttons, and on the screens. Brian's campaign slogan is, "Together we can do more." And it's a great slogan. I'm going to leave it to Brian to explain the intricacies of what all that means to him personally. I think it's important that he share that with us. But I think it says a lot about Brian as well. Mostly because it doesn't just focus on him, it focuses on all of you. And I can tell you as a close friend and colleague, it's just one of the many ways Brian operates. He understands so much of the great progress this city has made, and he knows that with a lot of hard work from Hamiltonians, this progress has been accomplished. And he knows that you did it. And so, again, for those who are the you-did-its, come on up here now behind me. I'm going to let you speak in just a few moments. Tonight we've seen the stories of a number of individuals who've made Hamilton a better place, featured on the screens on either side of me. There's going to be dozens and dozens more stories appearing on the campaign website in the coming months that will celebrate the differences and the individual differences that these individuals have made throughout our city. And tonight, we're fortunate to have a few of these people now behind me, the You Did It's. They are featured on these You Did It posters here, and to share how Brian has helped them make this city a better place, let me now invite the You Did It people to speak to you now and introduce themselves. The You Did It folks.
That's what I look like. And by the way, there are more You Did It than are on this stage at the moment. They are on the website. There's a growing gallery of You Did It. And these are the people who were available tonight to come and speak. For those of you who know others who will be supporting Brian, you're likely to find them on the website. So, as you've heard, Brian, the first part of Brian's campaign slogan is You Did It. Brian, I was there at the time he said this, wants to celebrate the hard work that lots of Hamiltonians are doing to make Hamilton as great as it is, doing so much hard work to make Hamilton move forward in a progressive way, and we are just a few of those people. We hope to have literally hundreds of people whose stories will be shared throughout the city. So let me begin and say, I have spoken in public before, but I must confess I've never spoken at a political event like this one before. So this is new for me. My name is Graham Crawford. I am the owner and founder of Hamilton History and Heritage on James Street North. It's a little experiment in storefront museuming, a non-word. For those who hate non-words, you're probably already upset. But it just celebrated its 6th anniversary, which I'm very pleased about at the end of October. I know many of you have visited, and I thank you for that. But here's a fact that some of you may not know. Since I opened 6 years ago, nearly 30,000 people have come through the front door of a little storefront on James North, which is tremendously pleasing. But they've come in to learn about their city. They've come in to share their knowledge of and their love for their city, the city of Hamilton. And like them, as many of you know, I love Hamilton. And I don't use the word lightly. I grew up here. I came back here after being away for a bit in terms of my career. And I am a fully engaged citizen here in Hamilton. Okay, which is why I'm happy to show my support for Brian McHattie. I will tell you, by the way, we're up here. The only thing that we were asked to do was, might we agree to speak? We were given no instructions about what to say, or even if we were to mention Brian. So whenever you hear from friends here, I haven't heard it. You're going to hear it at the same time the rest of us do, which I think is terrific. I have watched Brian's performance very closely at council for the past number of years. Perhaps like some of you, I'm no longer embarrassed to say I watch council meetings. I even attend council meetings. And as some of you know, I have a little daily poster thing that I do, which I enjoy doing. I like the way Brian thinks. I like what he stands for. I like his ability to play with others and still keep his principles intact, which for some, it seems mysteriously he's able to do that. I believe Brian is, without a doubt, the very best chance we have to bring a progressive agenda to City Hall as our mayor in 2014. Brian has my respect, he has my trust, and as you might expect, he has my vote. So I want to thank Brian for choosing to run for mayor. Brian, we need you, so thank you.
say, fairly engaged in the city. However, politically is one area that I don't normally get engaged, and I do that purposely. However, I have known Brian for a little while. I happen to live, work, and mostly play in Ward 1, I'm sorry. Ward 2 is a little bit outside of my area, but barely. It amazes me that Brian knows me. I've never gone to introduce myself to him, but at one point he asked me to speak for a heritage symposium, and I was honored to do so. I got to know him a little bit better during that time frame. I realized his love for the city, his desire and love to maintain and hold on to our heritage, what I call landscape. And it's something that some people are more than willing to throw away, and I find it extremely important. The things that I do involve myself on a daily basis, I'm not up here trying to help a new friend become mayor. As the poster tells you, I own a company called Historic Building Restoration. I own a partnership with a gentleman named Dave Premi with Tribuna Holdings and Seaworks Urban Offices over on Catherine Street. A very urban idea. I also own Treble Hall, the Pagoda Lounge, and most recently the Moulin Rouge Cafe, Boutique, and Bar. Love if anyone came over and saw that little plug. I also hear a baby crying. I also hear a little baby crying. I think that's the baby. That must be Louis. And I think Louis got to be kissed at some point tonight by a I'm glad everyone is here tonight to support Brian. As I said before, I very much admire him. I believe he will do a fantastic job for all of us. I was actually born and raised in Ancaster, raised my children in Dundas. The rest of my adult life I've lived in the core of Hamilton. And so I understand that it's not just downtown that's important, it's the suburbs, it's everything else that's important. I think Brian brings that with him. He understands that as well. You know, I'm all about the core, but I understand there's a lot more to Hamilton than just the core. And we've got to make that unity, it's got to, it's an important thing. And so, just one hoo-hoo for Brian, and I hope he does a very good job on that. There you go.
Brian got me up here. This is great. Thanks, Brian, wherever you are. But my name is Jim Steep. I've been in Hamilton my whole life. I was born here, raised in West Hamilton. I have a very large family of 9, and you can imagine what that would be like. I got the ball. I live in Westdale, and I'm very proud, very, very proud to be here tonight to help Brian, and very proud to be a Hamiltonian, I tell you right now. We have some of the best community people in Canada, I have to tell you that right now. I've been involved with other charities, and when you figure the cost to raise $1 for charity, Hamilton came first in the whole country. 16 cents in juvenile diabetes a number of years ago to make $1. We blew everybody out of the water, and it's you guys right here. You people right here represent Hamilton, and we know how to make it work, and we can make it work for Brian. I just want you to say, I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be Brian's friend, and I want to see us push him into mayorship and take our city to a whole new level. Thank you very much.
I was born in Hamilton, but actually didn't grow up here. We moved to Oakville when I was 3. But I have very long and strong family roots here, and I was thrilled to be able to move back to the place that's always been my home in my heart about 15 years ago. So I've been living in Westdale for the last 15 years. I'm involved in a couple of initiatives in Churchill Park in Westdale, restoring the teaching gardens. We had a labyrinth there this year, opening up the former lawn bowling clubhouse there and organizing community events. Those are some of the community things I've been involved in. I do what I do because I believe in the power of public spaces to bring a community together, to connect and inspire, to share knowledge, food, support, to build a healthy and resilient community. So Britain wasn't quite right. We were actually told what to say. We were asked to say who we were, what we did, and why we did it. And that was all. We weren't asked to stump for Brian. Just, you did it. Who are we, what we do, why we do it. But okay, don't start the music because I have to say a few words about how I do what I do. And I'm able to do what I do because Brian McHattie's been such a responsive councillor. He's welcomed my ideas, supported my vision, and he's made it happen by building positive relationships with city staff who have supported us enthusiastically. And I know that a lot of their enthusiastic support is due to their respect for Brian. None of it, frankly, none of what's happened in our community, in our park, would have happened without his help. So who am I? Well, I'm no one special. I'm just one person who wanted to do whatever she could do to make her little part of Hamilton a better place. Brian doesn't know this, I've never told him this, but Brian has changed me. He has changed me. By listening, by building bridges between the city and the community, he has enabled me. He made me feel like I had the power to make positive changes in my community. It's going to be really hard to lose him as our councillor. But as much as I love my neighborhood, I love my city now. And my greatest hope now is that people like me across the city have the opportunity to feel as empowered and enabled in their communities as I do. Thanks.
People who know me might expect a bicycle on here. Park would like to be specific, but Brandon didn't put one on. I'm Abram Bergen. I'm the founder and president of the Hammer Active Alternative Transportation, or AATCO for short. It's a mouthful. What we do is we transport goods between local businesses using bikes, trailers, and trikes, and we do up to 500 pounds. I came to Canada in '86 and right to Hamilton, and so I went to high school here. John A. went to McMaster, spent a long time there. And about 7 years at McMaster, I believe it was. And then school and work took me elsewhere for a while. For about 7 years, I was elsewhere. And like writing a difficult essay or a narrative, sometimes it's good to step away a little bit and then approach it with new eyes. So when I came back to Hamilton 4 years ago, that's what happened. I saw Hamilton in a different way. I still saw the problems. I still saw the needs, but I also saw a lot of potential that I didn't see before. So that's why I decided to found the company to make the difference that I saw needed to be made. And it really helps to have someone like Brian who understands, who has a progressive viewpoint, knows what needs to be done, and is supportive. Thank you.
My name is Paul Liston. The organizers asked me to be brief. I said, sure. And they believed me. Brian, you didn't do your job. I would have meetings with Brian, and he'd say, Paul, I have to go to a council meeting. And I'd say, okay, let's go. Some of you may know me as a librarian. Some of you may know me as a family where President of Stelco Union, Vice President of Stelco Union came from. You might know me through my sister Denise. I want you to know me as the editor of Hamilton Arts and Letters magazine, a magazine I founded with my wife Fiona Kinsella. Who's working magazine at the Art Gallery of Hamilton? Sorry. Fiona and I make a magazine, and I want to tell you about a few pages of the magazine. John Terpstra is a great Hamilton writer. A Governor General's Award nominee. Some time ago, John's mother was suffering, afflicted by complications around dementia. John had to move his mother out of the house into a residence. John had to confront his past, remember it, look at all the things around that house. Think about what was going on, and he said, because he's a writer, I have to write. And we said, yeah, John, you've got to write. And he wrote the most beautiful essay. And we published it. And then his mom passed away. Sorry. And he said, I've got to write. And we said, John, you've got to write. We published that essay, and he said, I'm not done. We said, you're not done, John. And we published that one. Those 3 essays have been picked up by Gasbro Press on the East Coast as a book. And so they're going to publish that book, and it's John looking at the alleys of Hamilton, looking at the houses of Hamilton, looking at where his mom came from, the way we all interact together. It's published on the East Coast, it's going to be read in Hamilton, it's going to be read across the country. Now somebody might say, John, you've got a book out, come on in, we'll have a photograph, eh? But somebody else might say, what had to be in place to make all that happen? And Brian McHattie is a person who understands what has to be in place to make all that happen.
Okay, thank you very much. One more time for the You Did It. Well, thank you, Graham. You just said you're a good MC. He's a good guy when it comes to doing posters. It's his thing. And I think we see Graham Crawford's mark on the campaign before us. I'm sure we're going to continue to see him postering up not just the inner city, not just 1, 2, 3, but wards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. He is going to be all over the place with his good artwork, and so is Brian McHattie. To thank our friends from the media and Dan Nolan who are here tonight.
Just remember, I gotta write your
I know. Your story appears tomorrow. That was awfully risky on my part. Dan, it's good to
Write
see
your
you.
own bit one day.
And Sam and the CBC and Mountain News, Joey Coleman, of course, who's done the work live streams. Everybody watching online, hundreds, thousands, I'm sure, and the spec, of course, who's here, and Kevin, I see you from Mountain News. And anybody else from the media I may have missed. Let's have a little fun here. We already recognized Councillor Pasuda is in the house this evening, and it's a great pleasure to see another good friend of mine on council. We have a lot of pleasant chats, and sometimes we try to figure out the farmers market together now and again in his office and mine. But he's certainly one of those devoted councillors, and it's great to see him and his wife here this evening. Here's another guy, or gal, around the council table who took the time to write this brief letter, and I thought I'll scratch out the bits that'll give it away and let you shout out to me once I'm through whom on council you may feel this little bit of correspondence in support of our man McHattie is from. So here it goes. Dear Brian, unfortunately, I have to chair a blank neighborhood liaison committee meeting this evening in our continued effort to address the issues that surround the blank precinct, something that I know you are very familiar with. My following comments is to recognize the qualities that you bring to this race. My experience in working with you as a councillor has been a good one. Even though we may not always agree, it is clear that over the number of years that I have been here, that you are a hard worker and very committed to our community. When it was made known that you were running for mayor, the first thought that came to my mind was that how you have been an invaluable part of our council team. Regardless of differences, you have led on many issues and always provided perspectives that had merit. You have always made an effort to work with your councillor colleagues regardless of their positions. It is for these reasons that I believe that you make an excellent candidate for mayor. Democracy is enriched when there are clear choices provided to the people of this community. There is no question in my mind, no matter who throws their hat into the race, that your candidacy for mayor deserves every serious consideration. I wish you all the best in your mayoral campaign, and know that your candidacy will give the real choice for the people to consider. Who said it? Sam. No. Katie Nolan said Sam too. Not Chad Collins, but that's a good guess. Fergie's good too. Lloyd Ferguson. Brian and Ferguson have a wonderful rapport, but it's not those three. Anybody else? Brenda. Brenda's a good one, and of course, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Team McHattie, but Brian endorsed Brenda Johnson when she ran and is now a rookie councillor. That's correct, right? Who else? Not Brenda. Was it Bernie? Bernie and they were he called him Grandpa all the time, and they had everyone had a great rapport. Bernie was a funny guy, a great guy. Not Bernie though. Fred Clark. Who? Fred Clark. Not Brad Clark, Mike Belmore. Good to see Happy Belmore in the house for this case. No, but they talk about things that are usually well over my head often. So not Brad Clark. Powers, no, but of course they have a lot in common, particularly as it relates to countries. You haven't got it yet. It's Terry Whitehead, that's right. Yes. Terry took the time to write this. But interesting, I love all the guesses, and it, I think, speaks volumes as to what we're going to hear throughout this campaign. It's about a rapport, it's about a great work ethic, and the ability to communicate not only with everybody across the board in this great, big, beautiful city, but quite obviously with his councillor colleagues around the table. With that, there are two people, you're all very important to Brian, I can assure you, especially tonight when you raise your hands when I look for your money. But there are two that are more important than anybody else. Their names are Elaine and Mitch. They are his immediate family, and they're here to speak to us now.
Wow, it's really great to see as many people here inspired by Brian, like I am. My name is Mitch Blau. I met Brian when I was 14, which is just about a decade ago. And before that, it was pretty much just my mom and I. And I was fine with that. I never felt that a part of my life was missing. But when my mom met Brian, there was no stopping him. I was fine with that too. By 14, I had, in many ways, already grown up. I was right in the middle of stepping away from my childhood and beginning to grow as an adult. It is a very difficult period for a teenager, and definitely a difficult period for a teenager's parents, and definitely a difficult period for a step-parent to enter into the mix. You would have never known it. Brian stepped right in, never telling me what to do, but asking me all the right questions to make me explain why I was doing what I was. He taught me to self-examine. He taught me the importance of social responsibility, of conscientiousness on scales beyond being kind to your neighbor. Although he definitely had me help our neighbor Victoria shovel her sidewalks. My mother, as a family physician, would often come home tired and looking to relax. As a high school student just discovering learning, I was impatient with that. I wanted to debate and consider everything. Brian was there. He was totally there. He was always willing to talk, sometimes for hours, about anything. From society's need for clean energy to the struggle of the middle-class worker in the 21st century. He is largely responsible for much of my personal intellectual growth that didn't happen in the classroom. That's something that's really precious and important to me. I've never felt that I was missing a father. The idea is still a bit strange to me, I'll admit. And Brian never mandated a relationship. It's not how he works. But he worked at it. And I mean, he drove me to 5 a.m. rowing practice for years. And if that isn't sacrifice, I don't know what it is. That's why he's my dad. And that's why I'm here for him today. Because I honestly believe he's the man of integrity, character, and vision that the office of mayor deserves. Brian McHattie has earned my support and my vote.
Wow, I don't know that I need to say anything after that. It is so great to see so many folks out tonight. It's a cold January night, and I guess we could all be in our warm homes, comfortable, and here we are, all, I think for the same reason, democracy, but specifically more to talk and think about Brian as future mayor. So I actually met Brian in 2003, and about the time that he's, like all of you, I'm sure. Brian has shown continued respect for my parenting invention. Any of you who have been step-parents, you know how challenging it is. It's an impossible balance to find. To support the parent as the biological parent and also be able to work with others in some very intense situations. What I've observed in Brian, that he's no stranger to hard work. He's also no stranger to teamwork. He certainly can work on his own, but when it comes to working in teams, he's very willing and able, and absorbs feedback with aplomb, which is actually a good quality in a mayor, I think. He's certainly no stranger to consensus building and peacemaking, and we actually made use of those skills a few times in our household as well, so didn't we? And not always initiated by Mitch either. So Brian is a very determined man. I think that's something some of you may know about him already, and I may not need to tell you that. Determined as a spouse, as a father, as a leader. I know tonight that if his father, sister, mother, grandparents, and we acknowledge their memory tonight, if they were able to join us, they would speak to a long history of this determination, and his sister actually might call it something slightly different. Teasingly, of course. Brian's grandfather, in fact, was himself a municipal leader and community builder. And Brian's parents involved themselves quite a lot in the community, and I think Brian kind of grew up with community and volunteerism as part of the fabric of his family life. So I don't think it's an accident that he's here today, continuing to offer his service to the community here. I also would like to just briefly make a shout out to our family in Saskatchewan, my biological family, and I hail from the prairies. We've been in Ontario for 20 years now, as has Mitch. My family has been very, very supportive of all of us, of Brian, and that goes right through to my extended family as well, so I want to thank them. I want to tell you something that's really cool about Brian, and something that's really neat about being a politician's wife. And it has its challenges, for sure, but one of the really cool things is at the end of some days, Brian will come home and he'll be so excited about something that's happened to him that day. And what's really interesting about what's happened here tonight is you've heard the stories of some of these people that get Brian really fired up. And those people are you. That is what gets him excited, and that's what keeps him going every day at work. So I want to thank you all. That, you know, those vignettes that he shares with me, that's the work that you're doing at the level of the community. You inspire him. Every one of you inspires him and helps him to do what he does. So I want to thank you, and I think you should all applaud yourselves. Right? So I must be way past my 4 minutes. Team player, committed, determined, respectful, inspired, and able to make us all his priority. That's the guy I know. That's the guy that I've been married to for the last 10 years, and hopefully for the next 50. Mitch and I are 110% behind Brian. We'll do our best to help him be a fabulous mayor of this community. We're absolutely willing to share Brian with you, partly because I know that he can do this and still make us a priority, and he's shown us that. The difference this time is it's not a ward of 40,000 people, it's about 12.5 times that many folks. So there are many, many people for us to meet in the coming days. So I want to thank all of you tonight, citizens from all over this municipality, Ancaster, Stony Creek, Glanbrook, Flamborough, Dundas, and the old city of Hamilton. We welcome you to this campaign, and I want to thank you for listening tonight. I look forward to working with you in the days and weeks to come. Thank you.
His son, we want to bring everybody together, and I did thank as well the members of the media earlier, but you know what else is important? I've seen a lot of the flashes going off, and I know there's a lot of tweets and social media action happening, and the live stream, of course, from Joe this evening. So while everyone's scrunching, because the next guest speaker is the guest speaker, we want to get a really good review right in front here. Let's get 2 tweeters. One tweet the crowd to the south, the other you can tweet the crowd to the north and send it out on Brian's behalf. So who wants to come up here, take a quick picture, and send it out via social media for me? Somebody from this side. Who wants to take a quick pic? So I got you. Come on up here. Take that picture up here. Come on over here. You. Yes, in the purple. Come on up here. And over here on this side. Who wants to? There you go. Who wants to see it?
No, I'm doing it.
Well, she's doing it for the CBC.
Somebody else.
Who wants to tweet on this side? Anybody? You want to do a tweet for Brian?
Taking the opportunity.
You? Okay, come on up here. The stairs are over here. Elaine hit on a pretty important point. I know he's in great shape, and certainly there's a lot of people to get to, and I also know he got out early, and so do all of you, and he is going to get to you. We're about to introduce a guy who will do whatever it takes to have that conversation from up top to down below, east, west. It won't matter. And it'll be by bike, he'll walk, he'll take his bus pass out and get to you via the HSR. Our candidate for mayor of this great city of Hamilton.
You love where you live. You don't ignore part of it, or only take care of some of the issues. You work hard, you get help from your friends, and you never stop making things better. Because when you love where you live, you don't just see the flaws, you see the possibilities. And when you're passionate about Hamilton, every problem can be turned into an opportunity. I'm Brian McHattie, and I'm running for mayor of the city we love. We on? Wow, this is incredible. I can't believe the number of people out here today. It's amazing. Thanks very much. And you guys got to hear all the other speeches, and I was ensconced in another room somewhere, so you've had much more fun than me so far. But I know, because I heard them earlier, how about the incredible speeches by campaign launch? Thanks to them. Okay. So now the official speech. As many of you know, I announced my candidacy first. I registered officially first. Side note to that, Michael Baldessaro, who you know and love, as we all do, he's a great mind in Hamilton. I mean that sincerely. He always registers first on January 2nd. I got him by half an hour this time. 30 minutes. So I think everything else is gravy after that. And tonight, of course, I'm launching my campaign first. So if it isn't already pretty clear, I'm very, very serious about wanting to be your mayor. So although tonight marks the launch of the McHattie 2014 campaign, tonight is not the beginning of the journey. For me, that journey began when I first was elected to public office 10 years ago. And for those past 10 years, I've been very proud to serve as the councillor for Ward 1. So while the journey continues, let's just say my horizon has expanded. As I said when I registered my candidacy, it's a critical time for Hamilton. And it's a critical time for me to step up and play a very different role in this city. Some people have talked about the risk I'm taking by giving up my seat in Ward 1 and running for mayor. For those of you who know me, I'm not afraid of taking risks, especially when the outcome is worth the effort. And when the outcome is a better, stronger, and healthier Hamilton, taking this new path is definitely worth the risk. So, you know, some people say to me, they say, Brian, you seem to be a pretty low-key guy, that you've got lots of ideas, but you don't seem to do the fiery rhetoric thing very well. Well, to those people I say, please don't confuse calmness and creativity with a lack of passion or determination. Sure. That was just a change of page, but it's a good opportunity to cheer. It's time, I think, in Hamilton for another approach to leadership, the kind of reasoned, collaborative, and sharply focused leadership all bring to the position of mayor. I believe you can fight for Hamiltonians, all Hamiltonians, without always having to raise your voice in anger or frustration. I believe effective leadership, thank you. I believe effective leadership is built on mutual respect and a common vision for what will make Hamilton better for all people, wherever in the city they've chosen to live with their families. I've worked very hard to earn both the respect and trust of my fellow councillors, and I'm lucky tonight, of course, to have a couple of councillors in the room. Very lucky to have the support of city staff, and I've worked hard to engage that. And I think the support of other councillors, the relationship with them, the relationship with city staff, will enable me to bring a very new style of leadership to City Hall. I know I can work with them. They know they can work with me. Together, I know we can achieve more. Which brings me to my campaign statement. And I believe you've already had a bit of a preview of that this evening. And as you know, it has two parts, not just in terms of words, but more importantly, in terms of meaning. You did it. Together, we can do more. know, Hamilton really is moving in the right direction. And I think people are really feeling the momentum in Hamilton. To a large extent, that progress is being led by individual citizens, many of the people in this room. That's where the You Did It part comes in. Earlier tonight, you met many of the citizens who are the You Did It people, we're going to start calling them, the You Did It citizens. And there are many more right across our city, and we're going to hear a lot more from them over the coming weeks and months as the campaign unfolds. And those people are coming from a wide variety of different places. They may have built a new business. Maybe it was a restaurant or a textile store or a design studio, or maybe folks involved in citizen-based journalism. A few of those folks in the room tonight. Other folks have expanded a business, perhaps an engineering business, or a label company, or an animation company. You did something in the neighborhood or community where you've made your home. Perhaps you helped start a community garden, or organized a kids' soccer league, or shoveled snow for seniors, those snow angels out there, or volunteered at a food bank, or stood in the darkness and cold of night, and Lord, we've had some cold nights this winter, to flood an ice rink in your local park so kids could have fun skating. That's commitment. It's commitment. And you've done this throughout the city, all throughout the city, from Upper James to James Street North, from King Street in Westdale, right through to King Street in Stony Creek, from Concession Street on the mountain to Cross Street in Dundas, from Mill Street in Waterdown to the Meadowlands of Ancaster, right across our great city. Our community has seen change, very important, significant change, because you did it. Unfortunately, a lot of people say they did it in spite of City Hall. I've heard that once or twice. Not because of City Hall, which is a concern. I know only too well that sentiment from being at City Hall, and it comes from personal experience dealing with a lot of the red tape that we engage in at City Hall. And that is something that must change. Very much so. We need to make it easier to achieve things in Hamilton, not harder. Not by disregarding procedures, but by making them more efficient and more reflective of the realities faced by our residents and for business. We must support and amplify your energy, not block and diminish it. I'm proud to say that I've been working with many of you over the last 10 years as the Ward 1 councillor. And I can honestly say your determination has inspired me to work very, very hard. And I'll bring that same level of determination to running for your mayor. I stand by my record. You can see what I believe in the many motions I put forward at City Council and the motions from others that I've supported, including many from my colleague, my great colleague and friend tonight, Jason Farr, and the ones I've chosen not to support in some cases. And I've added this in the last 24 hours, even ones I've had to withdraw as the sand shifted beneath my feet. Happens. It does happen. No one gets everything right, but when you base your decisions on principles that are founded on doing what's best for your city, it's a lot easier to live with your decisions. So to all who have been out there doing it, often for little or no personal gain, I thank you. I'm inspired by you, and I'm committed to helping you do even more. The second part of my campaign statement speaks to how I see the future of Hamilton. It's my heartfelt belief that together we can do more, a lot more. That's why, as mayor, I'll commit myself to harnessing and to focusing the skills of City Council, the strength and talent of our city staff, and the remarkable commitment, creativity, and compassion of citizens who are engaged in their city. We can all achieve more together than any one of us can do individually. And to do that, I want to listen to you. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear what you're doing now. I want to hear what you think we need to do next, and to do better, and to do faster. I also want to hear about what you think we need to stop doing so that we clear the path for progress of all kinds. And I want to share with you what I believe we can do and do better together. I want the success story of Hamilton to be made up of the thousands of success stories of all of its citizens. There are many ways to share those stories face-to-face with me directly, and we heard some of those stories tonight, and you'll hear those and see those throughout the campaign on the website and in person at other events. All successful plans require a focus, and the focus I want to offer to you tonight consists of 5 areas. Think of them as a framework, and they don't necessarily include every issue that may be important to you, but I think they'll be very helpful in focusing our discussions and in focusing my leadership. The 5 areas of focus are stronger neighborhoods, smarter growth, more open government, healthier environment, and more jobs. Although tonight's not the time to go deep on policies or specific details, for me to be able to earn your support, you need to know what I stand for. Tonight, I want to share a little bit about each of the 5 areas of focus. Stronger neighborhoods. It's an area, stronger neighborhoods are a place where each street, each neighborhood, and each ward reflects the needs and goals of the people who live there. A strong neighborhood is a community that focuses on what's good for the area while keeping a strong sense of what's good for all Hamiltonians. From transportation to safety to infrastructure to access to services, strong neighborhoods have all those areas in mind. A strong neighborhood is defined by its residents, not by its boundaries. Smarter growth. A Hamilton that expands smartly encourages development in the right places so that all residents and businesses benefit from that growth now and well into the future. But not growth for the sake of growth. We need to have the kind of growth that increases city revenues while at the same time helping us to keep property taxes to the minimum. Smarter growth means focusing on making Hamilton better, not just bigger. Healthier environment. A healthy Hamilton is a community where the environment, both natural and built, is cared for by its leaders and by its citizens, no matter where you choose to live. Clean air and water, protected green spaces, walkability, great transit options, to name only a few important items. A healthy Hamilton takes pride in the beauty and the strength of those who built the city before us. We look for innovative solutions to save and reuse what has value and meaning and history while continuing to progress and to change. A healthier environment ensures our built and natural environment feeds our lives and doesn't starve our future. More open government. An open Hamilton is a community where government is open and responsive to citizens and to businesses because both are important to the well-being and success of our city. We share data and ideas between city staff and citizens to the benefit of both. Those investing in Hamilton are treated as real partners in our city's evolution rather than just applicants in the planning process. And we need to raise Hamilton's profile on the national stage. We make being an engaged citizen not a convenient platitude, but a rock-solid principle of good government. More jobs. Hamilton should be a community where people of all working ages can find or create good-paying jobs that allow them to stay in Hamilton or to move here and to build lives for themselves and for their families. To accomplish this, we need to focus on workforce training and retraining for experienced workers, a youth job strategy, and assisting entrepreneurs, current and new. More jobs means working in Hamilton is a personal choice, not a personal challenge. Over the coming weeks and months, I'll be releasing more detail for each of these 5 areas of focus as I discuss ideas, issues, opportunities, and actions with Hamiltonians. As I said before, think of them at this point as a framework. And as we fill in the details in this framework, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you think needs to be in that framework and in the detailed policies that follow. I've been around long enough to know the campaign ahead will be long and challenging. That's why I need your help. I need your help in connecting with friends throughout our community. I need your help in shaping and in sharing my ideas and my commitments. And I need your help. Thanks very much. Thanks a lot. Hey, big guy. Good going, man.
Script, eh?
For sure. It is. Thanks a lot. Okay. Yep. So we just go over here. Want us down? Yep.
All right, folks. All right. So, wonderful speech. And once again, not too hard to detect the passion in our candidate for mayor, Brian McHattie. One more time. Does that mean you're willing to donate to this campaign? We're going to need thousands. So what we're going to do right now, folks, stay in the room, a backward auction. We're going to start at the top, which is the maximum you can donate to this campaign, and we're going to go down from there. It's a backwards auction that starts at $750. Who wants to contribute? Here, I've got another five just on this side, and it's probably an important time to say, stay where you are, 750s, because we have a whole lot of volunteers. Perfect, thank you. You should get in, Brandon. We're going to come to you, 750s. We have our candidates in the blue McHattie. Together we can do more t-shirts. They're going to come. They're going to hand you a form. We're going to ask that you fill it out. There'll be an area over in that corner over there where you can hand it in. So, one more time. Who wants to donate $750? Put your hand up high so our crew can come to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you, sir. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Let's get to 20 on the 750. Then I can do the math a lot easier. 18. Thank you so much. We got an 18 at 750. 19. 20 at 750. That's unbelievable. Just before we bring it down to 6. Are you sure? Is there anybody else that wants to deliver at 750? How about $600? Anywhere between 5 and 6 to the McHattie campaign. Have we got anybody? Anywhere between 5 and 6. I think I saw one down there. Who wants to donate anywhere between 5 and 6? How about between $200 and $400 to this campaign? We can set up a 400. Thank you very much. 400 over here.
Good evening, folks. So thank you, everyone who's tuned in to the live stream tonight. We just watched as Councillor Brian McHattie, Ward 1 City Councillor, kicked off his mayoral campaign with 5 points. Very interesting event. We have over 400 people in the room. It's pretty much at fire code in here. So once I get that number, I will be able to give you a solid crowd estimate. This is our first mayoral campaign to come out of the gate, and there'll be plenty more, and we'll be live streaming them all. So make sure that you tune in, tell your friends, be informed when you go and vote in October. Looks like McKay's going back on stage, so I'm going to switch back to the microphone here. So, once again, thank you everyone who tuned in. We just had our first mayoral campaign come out of the gate. Throughout the election, we will be at all major mayoral candidate events guaranteed. Most of the independents, if not all of the independents. We're going to go to every single ward. I am offering to every neighborhood association in this city that is holding a debate. I will come with the camera. I will come with the microphones. I don't need to moderate. I don't need to set the rules. It's your community. We're going to cover this race. I look forward to it. It's going to be a great year. Hopefully, we can get more people informed, more people engaged, and get voter turnout over 50%. So once again, thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. This was the campaign launch for Brian McHattie. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m., City Council. It's the 2014 budget process as it continues with departmental budgets being released. And then at 5 o'clock, the first City Council meeting of the year. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Be safe.